Take photos with them, see them outside. So that's all coming right up. Like I said, all nonprofit, really working on expanding their habitat, building the swimming pool, all good things for the elephants. We're going to have Lou come out first, so we're really going to start learning about them. She's going to help us demonstrate some of the differences between the African elephant, the Asian elephant, do a couple things for you guys. So here she comes. Alright, so this is Lou. Lou is 37 years old. Like I said, she's an African elephant. When you look at Lou, the easiest way to tell the difference between the African and the Asian is when you look at the ears. So the African elephant has a very large ear. It's actually shaped like the continent of Africa. The Indian elephant, has half the size ear, shaped like the country of India. So you can always tell the difference right when you look at the ear. Also, the African has a high backbone on the back. The Asian elephant, straight, flat back. Now the skin is totally different. So there's a lot of wrinkles on the African elephant. Those wrinkles serve a purpose. They break up the sun rays, keeps them cooler. Also, the whole body is covered with a callus. The thick parts of this callus are on the top of the forehead here, and also on the top of the back. So that callus peels off each year. A new callus grows right under it. Really protects them from the sun. So the African elephant, they walk for miles and miles each day, really exposed directly to the sun, the hot sun, and that extra layer of skin really protects them from that. The Asian elephant, they come from a cooler climate, a lot more tree coverage. They don't have all that extra callus like the African does. Their hearing is excellent. Their ear canal is on the outside here. So when they open their ears, giant sonars. So they can hear each other miles away. They can communicate a lot of different ways. They can do a high frequency pitch that we can't hear with our ears. Something like a silent whistle. They can do a trumpet noise. The trumpet noise, when they blow all that air through that nose, creates a trumpet. They can also rumble. The rumble carries vibrations miles away, and they can feel those vibrations with their feet. A lot of body language. They can do a squealing noise. Sounds like kind of like a human yelling, a squealing noise. Eyesight, excellent. Their eyes kind of protrude a little bit, so they can almost see all the way behind them. Up close, perfect vision. At a distance, it does start to get blurry for the elephants. But up close, perfectly clear. Anything on the ground, anything standing around them, they're totally aware of everything that's going on. Back to the ear. The ear is very important for the elephant because behind the ear, there's a lot of blood vessels. So when the elephant fans their ears, it actually acts like a radiator and it cools down the whole blood system. Elephants do not sweat, so the only other way they can stay cool is mud, dirt, hay, water, whatever they can throw on their backs to really cool themselves off. You might notice little holes, little rips throughout the ear. That's because the ear is so important to them. If they get a scratch, a cut, it gets infected, they just dry that portion, drop it to the ground, eliminate it. They can't afford for that infection to spread to the whole ear. So you'll see all different ears with the elephant. Little holes, big holes, you might see half an ear missing. The ear actually becomes the fingerprint for an elephant. All elephants have different ears. Alright, tusk up front. These are teeth on the outside. There's a nerve that runs down the center of the tusk and it stops 2 inches from the tip. These tusks grow throughout their lifetime. They can grow all different ways. You can go left, right, down, up. They can cross. All different ways of growth. It can break, however. That nerve can get exposed. It can get infected. If it does get infected, you got to come almost all the way up here to the eye to remove that whole tusk. So a major process for that. Usually, luckily, it doesn't get infected. It will just continue to grow. The males, the bulls, they do have the dominant tusk, sometimes 2-3 times as thick, up to 14 feet long. So a humongous ivory for the male. The female Asian elephant has very small ivory. You can only really see it when she picks her trunk up. You'll see small little piece of ivory on the female Asian elephant. but the African female does have large ivory like the males. All right, trunk up front. This is her trunk, her nose, her hand. So this is probably the most important part of the body for the elephant. She actually has 2 fingers at the bottom of that trunk, and she could actually pick up a small dime with those 2 fingers. Very flexible, no bone structure in the trunk. Over 100,000 muscles, can expand and retract like an accordion, so just very flexible. With the trunk alone, she can pick up 300 to 700 pounds of weight. If she uses her ivory, also up to 1,000 pounds. So really a lot of capacity to lift. All right, so Lou's going to give you a slight example of how she uses her fingers to pick up an object. So we got a couple treats for her, and we can really see how those fingers work. A couple apples. All right.
Stand up. Okay, hold this apple. You're just going to stay here. All right, stay there. And hold it out and see that. She'll come and get it.
All right, here she comes. Watch how she uses those fingers. Alright, so that's how she uses her fingers to pick up objects. The Asian elephant only has 1 finger, so they kind of curl their food. It's just a finger and a palm. You'll see that with Carol later on. Alright, so it is true that an elephant never forgets, so their memory banks are 3 times larger than ours. What it is, in Africa, they drink water in one spot. 5 years later, 10 miles away, they could actually remember that same spot where they got the water. Excellent memory. So if they like somebody, if somebody pets them a lot, gives them a lot of treats, they could actually pick you out of the crowd a year later. So really that intelligent when it comes to memory. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit now about elephant conservation. So last October, I was able to go to the International Elephant Foundation for their annual Conservation and Research Symposium in South Africa. So it's a week-long event. I get to meet with researchers, elephant conservationists from all over the world, so really got to learn a lot. Unfortunately, the elephant population is in a big decline. So in 1930, there were over 10 million elephants roaming Africa. Today, it's about 400,000 to 450,000 of the African elephants left. The Asian elephant is far more endangered. There's only about 40,000 of the Asian elephants left. So the main reason for this is all the poaching that's going on for their ivory. They're saying almost 100 a day are going down from the poaching alone in Africa. Also, the human-elephant conflict is a big issue, especially for the Asian elephant. So this past year in Sri Lanka, they lost 360 elephants being killed by the natives, and the elephants actually killed 100 of the natives. So they're really battling it out over the land, over the resources, creating a major conflict there. So what we're doing at Myakka Elephant Ranch to help, we've partnered with the Elephant Foundation, committing a portion of our proceeds to go directly to them. Right now we're working on building anti-poaching ranger stations in Uganda and a couple of projects with the Sumatran Asian elephant. So real excited about that partnership. Well, hopefully it makes a bit of a difference. By you guys being here, you are supporting the mission of the elephant conservation, along with really supporting our 3 elephants. So like I said, we're working on expanding their habitat this way, building them a swimming pool, medical stalls going up right now. So all good things coming for our elephants. Anything you guys donate, anything you get in the gift shop, does really go directly to helping elephants. All right, next up, we're going to bring Carol out so we can really see the differences between the African elephant and the Asian elephant. So let me get Carol. 1 second. Good mom, good mom. All right, this is Carol coming out. So this is Carol. Carol is 47 years old. Like I said, she's an Asian elephant. So when you look at Carol, you can start to see the big differences. So a lot smaller ears, a total different backbone, total different skin. As Carol actually has two big humps on the top of her head, where Lou has more of a round head. So the Asian elephant is actually more related to the woolly mammoth than they are to the African elephant. Completely different species. You'll notice a lot of freckles on the front of her face and on her ears. So those freckles are called depigmentation. It's a characteristic of the mainland Asian elephant. So there are 4 different subspecies for the Asian elephant, and one of the ways you can tell them apart is which ones have the freckles. So the African elephant, they actually have 2 totally separate species. The forest African elephant, and like Lou, the savanna African elephant. So the forest elephant tends to be a lot smaller, they kind of hold their heads down, they have straight ivory, but the savanna elephant is actually the biggest elephant. Alright, so questions about elephants. Anybody have any questions?
I know before she would say that she shakes it to get all that big stuff off.
Yeah, so mostly they're trying to get all the seeds to go to the bottom, and they kind of eat the seeds separately. Also, she's just making sure there's nothing in there that shouldn't be in there. Just playing with the food, kind of. They all have their own style of eating, kind of. So we don't trim it, but sometimes we'll round it off, because if she's playing with the other ones, if it's too sharp, she could hurt them. So we'll just kind of make it dull. Yeah, we don't want it to be sharp, because they do sharpen